Right guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's a bit of a practice day. So I'm going to work some short game, then hit some balls on the range, do some towel drills and just go through and just like talk through what I'm working on, essentially. There may be quite a few things that you can like pick up from this, like tips here and there. But I think I want to just document my, me trying to get better as a golfer. Rather than, trying to like forcibly make content, just sort of like document what I'm doing. I feel like there could be some stuff to learn along the way. And really this has come off the back of doing a few videos of Liam Robinson recently. I really feel like that's probably how my channel works best, when it's more like a documenting the progress and learning things along the way. So like, I've got a lot planned over the next few weeks. I'll be going to see Liam again. We're definitely doing more of those playing lessons because so many people have commented about how much value they got from that. So we'll do more of those playing lessons. I'll film the lessons in RAW. I've got a few opponents coming up as well for some matches. So got some good stuff coming up. And I'm actually going out on the golf course today to try a new driver. So if you want to see me hit that new driver, just make sure you're subscribed, and that'll be the next video after this practice session. So intro done. We'll actually do a bit of work. I'm just going to talk about some of the things that I'm working on, because chipping is an area of my game that I went for a phase where it improved drastically, and that was taken on board the Joseph Mayo philosophy of chipping, which is to increase your angle of attack, so essentially hitting down on it more, and to aid in doing that, getting your vertical swing plane up higher. And I'll talk about exactly how that stuff works, and I've got a little drill to help me with this. I'm going to use an alignment stick in a minute. But yeah, my chipping, when it gets bad, the club works way too much this way, and it also works a bit closed, and there is just no way that you can chip well from inside and shut. It's just like a completely dead position. You end up trying to like drag the handle, de-loft in the face, so you get way too much ball speed, and also you get a lot of that, so heavy strikes. So it's funny, I actually recorded myself chipping left-handed recently, and this left-handed chipping action, I don't know if I'll be able to do it with the toe of the club, but this left-handed chipping action, I just had like a left-handed sand wedge, and I was hitting some chip shots, and I was striking them all so well, and I thought, what is it that's really aiding in that? And I've got a video which I can hopefully overlay here. And I'm pretty much doing all the stuff that that Joe Mayo tells the students to do, which is get a vertical swing plane, get your vertical swing plane as high as possible. So I'm going to explain what that actually means. I've done a video on this in the past, but an instructional chipping video on my channel probably ain't going to go down that well. It got like 6,000 views or something. Anyway, regardless, vertical swing plane is the angle that your club, so the club head, is traveling on from sort of like knee high to impact. So a 90-degree vertical swing plane, if this is looking straight down the target line, would look like it was coming from here. So just basically straight up, this club head would be tracking straight down this line at the angle of about 90 degrees. And if you look at some of the best chippers in the world, so if you look at Scotty Scheffler, if you look at John Rahm, just have a look, Jordan Spieth, just have a look at the way their club head travels. It's definitely not going inside and shut. It's working very much up and down the line. So that's what I'm trying to get back towards. And a question that might come up is, because I actually posted this recently on another platform, and I said, like, I need to get back to this stuff that Joe May was talking about. And someone said, yeah, that's great, but what about winter? Like, you want as much margin as possible. You want to use that bounce. But it gets to a certain time of year, it doesn't matter how much bounce you're exposing. The club, like when it gets to this is like prime, like muddy, not a lot of grass coverage. It's not nice, right? And yeah, this is pretty much yeah, what I was saying is, get back to my point. It doesn't matter how much bounce that you lay down, expose, you're still going to get those heavy strikes. So using a higher VSP and a steeper angle of attack, and then also getting the club out the ground again, which I'll talk about a bit later. It doesn't matter what the conditions are underneath the ball, because the idea is you don't hit them like that. This is why we've got some work to do. Yeah, he's got his students hitting this shot off wet Bermuda, and you'll probably see that the club's even working inside. So let's get to this actual work now, shall we? Like, just stop talking about it. So this is as grim as it gets. Just not much grass coverage. It's wet. You struggle to get a ball that's sat up, even though that is probably a bit too much. So we're just going to hit some chip shots to this first flag, and we're going to set this alignment rod, and it's going to force the VSP, vertical swing plane, up. So this is what I'm working on. And there's a few things that we can do set up to actually aid with this. Number one is get the shaft pitch way steeper, get closer to the ball. Those two things combined with getting the thumbs down the grip, leaning forward, and then you're really going to see the struggle that I'm on. But this is it. We're documenting, and that is the idea. I tell you what, it is absolutely freezing cold, by the way. It's like one of those days that doesn't actually look cold. When you look out the window, you're like, oh, I'll be alright today. But then you get like a northeasterly wind, and it's like horrible. Obviously, I'm a southerner, so we feel it more down here. Right, shaft plane up, leaning forward. There, that's it. Such a nice strike. You can see it straight away. It's coming out with spin. Nice low spinny flight. Yeah, strikes so much better straight away. So yeah, that's why I'm showing you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah, it's better. It's way better. To be honest, this is yeah, we don't really want shaft in it, so maybe we just need to take this back a bit, just so it's more club head. Yeah, that's better. So this shaft needs to be, yeah, like 3 foot behind. Otherwise, you're just gonna smash the shaft into it. And I could probably get this a bit towards the right. So nice and close. Lean left, weight left. Oh, mate. It's just like there's a different strike there. It's just so much better. Okay, let's move the golf ball a tad further left. Yeah. So another thing, my feet tend to get like slightly too wide. So just nice and narrow, like heels touching, and then it's weight forward and trying to get the tilts forward. So like, I look back at my old chipping technique, and honestly, it's no wonder why I struggled. I used to be tilted, and I'd take it inside and shut, and then tilt even more. Like, every one of those pieces is throwing the low point back, and it's going to lead to duffs. And then what that will lead to in time if you keep doing that, it's just going to lead to nerves. And then you get a case of the old John McClane's, you know, the Nakatomi Plazas. And then you're running around a building mowing down Hans Gruber because you just lost your mind with it. So, you know, it's like I feel like the yippee-ki-yays always start with bad technique, and you suffer with low points, so you suffer with strike, you hit a few really bad shots, it scares the shit out of you, and then you end up, you know, a nervous wreck. But good technique, and then like proving that technique through practice, getting some confidence in practice, taking it to a tournament scenario and getting results in a tournament scenario, then you can get rid of it. It takes some work. All right, leaning forward, get that shaft nice and high up, vertical swing plane up. Probably not enough because I clipped that. Bite in that wind. Yeah, mate, so much better. And look, there's going to be people that watch this that are sort of like disciples of the using the bounce method. Personally, as soon as I get that club around me and I get shallow, I just can't get low point, and it doesn't feel natural. So it didn't work for me. Like there's different ways of doing things, but if you look at a lot of very good chippers, you'll notice they all have this thing in common. That is what we are playing off at the moment. As you can see, it's there's not a lot of grass. It's just pretty minging. So we'll set this camera up. Try and get this like fairly wide. Right, it's not perfectly faced on, but that's a decent spot to chip from. Yeah, please let me know what your thoughts are with this sort of content. Obviously, we're starting with some short game stuff. Not everyone's, you know, that excited by this, but you know, I want to take this format and just film as much as possible. Okay, this is like a nice chip shot for, I've got 60 degree wedge, and that's the club that I'm looking to use a lot more of. Like different ways of doing it again, like use multiple wedges if you want, but I'm just going to try and get a lot better with one wedge. Sort of make your practice more efficient, I think. So little pitch, probably land this about a foot on, maybe a yard on actually, and same sort of ideas. So we'll hit a few without the stick. Oh, it's okay. And when I look back at this footage as well later, especially the down the line view there, like I'm going to really have a look at where that club head is tracking, because it may well be that it's still, you know, not where it needs to be, but you know, it's a work in progress for me. Yeah, strike's pretty good. Right, so you notice one thing, right? I'm doing everything I can to get a steep angle of attack, but you notice that you're not getting any of that. And that is the other piece of the puzzle that is like the add-on. So without making this like an instructional video, well, I guess it sort of is, you want your angle of attack to be at least 10 down. Oh, I'm just talking about the stuff that Joe Mayo talks about, again, which has really helped me. So angle of attack is quite steep. So 10 down, it's hard to like picture that unless you've hit shots and got your numbers measured when you're chipping. But you're hitting down on it quite a bit. So this club head doesn't keep going down. So the handle and the club head don't continue to go down. There's a bit around impact where that handle starts to work up. So you're hitting down on it, but just around impact, the club actually gets out of the ground. So more like, and also this little move forward here, going low and left, really helps get the vertical swing plane up and helps the descending blow. But just pre-impact, and you'll see this with any good chipper, there's a little move up. Most of the time, like, in fact, pretty much every time, I could imagine, like, these very good chippers, you know, the likes of Scheffler and Rahm and Woods, etc. Obviously, they're not thinking about consciously lifting that head up. It's just something that they subconsciously do to get the club out of the ground. But that is how you get the club from stopping to, basically, you don't want it to go that way. You want it to go down and then up. So it's just a little bit of a rise in the body. You're like pulling the handle up a bit, and that stops it digging. And that's why you can hit down on it, not hit big divots like that. Yeah, it's nice that. There we go. Pretty good. Right, so I'm gonna just continue with this practice now, and we'll check in when we go on the range, because I'm gonna do some towel work, talk about that. And you know, this is not just gonna be me trying to talk through what I'm doing. I want to like show you what I'm doing, and then I'm gonna put in half an hour work now, just going through it. So yeah, see you on the range. So we're on the range. I've got the camera back as far as it could go, and I'm hoping that you can see these ball flights. So we're just starting with some wedges, just with the drill that, oh mate, honestly, if I could hit wedges like this in the golf course, I'd be so much more dangerous. But like, I guess these drills are eventually going to seep into the action, so then I will be hitting wedges like this in the golf course. It's just a matter of time of doing the reps. Like that flight, just flighted low. They're all in a tiny little, whatever you want to call it, spread. They're in a little spread, a little group, but they're just like, yeah, I mean, I fell over and it's just landed in the middle. I don't know if you can see that or not. Should be able to be fair. So this is the drill that Liam introduced me to last time, and you'll notice there's a step up at the end, and this just really helps you. So I'm just thinking, because I'm practicing now, I'm thinking a bit more consciously. So I'm thinking off, on, and then the step. So you just lift your right foot up and also get your left hand off the club. Did I get my left hand off the club? Yeah. Oh, mate. Yeah. So the left hand off really helps you release that golf club, sort of like throw it underneath. And then the right foot off just encourages you to, once you're into that left foot, just get up and onto your left side. So all things that are gonna, like that move that way, like you can't help but get the low point in the right place, because like it's just impossible to actually find the ground behind you if you're like completely on your left foot, which is what it forces you to do. So we'll hit a few more of these, and then it's just, yeah, it's that flight as well. So that's what you're looking at. That's what you're looking for with a wedge, and that's what you see all the best wedge players have, is that it's just flighted, like, and you can see it spinning. This is so controllable. So we'll hit some full ones in a minute without, well, not full, but we'll hit the same distances without the drills. Yeah, so let's try one. It's funny because as soon as I go back to hitting balls normally, I'll always feel like I'm like spinning and dragging, and the ball flight will change. So let's see if it does. Yeah, tiny bit skinny, but in the grouping. Let's just get those feels. There you go. So they do start to seep in. Probably lost the club face a tiny bit there, which is why the ball went left. They do seep in. It's just a case of, there we go. Yeah, that's nice. I mean, these wedges are just clipped. It's only going to be a matter of time as well. I'll show you this range in a minute. But there's a grass range here, which I'm not sure if you can see from this camera angle, but they're really doing things at Bovey Castle. It looks great. It's not bad. Tiny bit spinny. Let's go back to the drill. Pure. And then we can always throw in this one as well. This is where it gets quite hard. So it's a step in, and then up. So it's step off, step in, and up. It's a lot of movement and a lot of coordination, but I'll move this ball back so I don't smack into this. That's probably the best one of it. Yeah, it just encourage really, really good movement. Bit heavy, that one. But that's probably the first bad one of it, apart from like a couple skinny ones. Yeah. I'm going to show you that grouping in a minute. It's tight. So let me just show you what we're working with here at Bovey. So chipping area is the other side of this. This is all new, by the way. It's looking really good. This is the grass hitting area. Got a ball machine, all new in. This is the area that I'm really looking forward to putting some work in this year. I'm hoping that they can turn this into a pitching area, because you've got a few places where you could have greens. I think they may be, but they just need to be cut a bit. But you could have a little teeing area here and hit up to like 100 yards, I think. That could be unreal. And then you've got all your yardages here, which are literally bang on. So yeah, Bovey Castle is looking very, very good. Really good place to come practice. Get on that towel, shall. So if you saw the lesson that I had last with Liam, you know that the thing that we're working on at the moment, the drill, is starting with a fairly narrow stance, big step forward, and hit. And straight away, after working this drill in, I went out and played 2 days later at Trevose, which is last week, and my ball striking was just so much better, less spinny, more. It's really hard to explain the feeling that I get when I'm like before I went to South Africa, when I was really drilling in this stuff hard, there was a feel that I had in my golf swing, which I'm going to try and articulate now. Yeah, it's the feeling that you get, like, it's almost like you lean and then you can just throw it under. So you lean on it and just throw it under. And because you've stayed in your posture and you've got down there to throw, that club face just stays so neutral. When I spin and perhaps back up and come out my posture, I have to then, release those angles and which is what we are doing with throw, but we're doing it, like, I guess, a different way. So when I used to go like spin back up out of it and this way, the spin is what pushes your arms this way, and then I'd always get this position where the club face is rotating, my arms come away from my body, and it just looks like really disconnected. But when you get up, off, on and throw, you end up here. Like, it's just a really nice feeling. Anyway, let's hit some. Yep. Proper heavy towel today. I think this is Renly's. Let's get 7-iron out. Let me know what you're thinking about these vlogs. Like, my channel's not just going to turn into me practicing my chipping and my long game. But when I come do my practice days, I think this stuff before we go out on the golf course, really like talking through what I'm working on, could potentially be quite helpful. It feels like it, I don't know, is it interesting, is it not? You have to let me know. It's always hard to tell when you're doing it yourself, because I'm just sort of going through the stuff that I just do and talking about it. So to me it feels a bit like it wouldn't be very interesting, but if it is, just let me know. What's good as well, he started to get me doing those towel drills, but finding the floor as well, so on the mat, which really gets you like, bam, like on it, throw, with that cut off follow through, because I'm focusing on hitting the ground. But when you translate that to hitting golf balls, oh, I might have to turn the camera around. Oh, that's nice. By the way, massive thanks to Golf Mates, who literally gave me this camera, because he's an absolute lovely guy. I was out in South Africa at the time. This might be, I could zoom out. So yeah, I was out in South Africa and he was coming out to caddy for his mate, and I said I needed a camera on my Instagram, and he said, "Oh, I've got one of these. Will this do?" And then he was just like, "It's yours, mate. I'm going to give it to you." I was like, absolute legend. So I met him in South Africa. We had a chat at Royal Joburg. Just sat there having a few drinks for an hour or so. Yeah, he's a really nice guy. Okay, so we're going to take those feelings in. Now, I don't know if you can see this ball flight or not. Let's see. It's feeling good. Really good. Okay. Right. Do you know what? I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to set this camera up. So I'm going to put in a bit more work now. Just doing the towel drills, sort of like a mixture of the two. So towel, ground, hit. Like I've gone through phases where I'm like, oh, I've got to hit like 5 balls and 5 balls and 5 balls. But I prefer to just come down and just dart about and really like just play around with the feelings rather than trying to get like too methodical and, you know, spread 3 balls out, 3 balls out, 3 balls out, through with that, through with that. I don't know, it just doesn't feel for me as beneficial. So anyway, I'm just gonna hit the towel, do this work, probably finish with a few more wedges, and then we are going out to the golf course. And I have a brand new driver right here, which we're going to be trying. So that's the next video, and that is coming probably tomorrow. So this should be, I'm not sure what day it is now, but yeah, next video is coming tomorrow. Please let me know what you think about this first one. Slightly different content than normal, but it feels like a better way of me documenting the journey, as we all love to say. So thanks for watching, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one with the new driver. Cheers, my boots.